In this video, you will learn about fission and fusion reactions. We're going to start with fission. During a fission reaction, an atom splits into multiple atoms. This means we start out with one large atom, and a neutron, generally a tiny neutron, will hit it to start this reaction, which will make this atom, this nucleus of this atom, really unstable, and it will then break apart into two smaller atoms. And some other neutrons might shoot off as well as a byproduct. So this is a fission. The key is we start with a big atom and it breaks apart into two or more smaller atoms. So for example, we could start with uranium 237, and this symbol stands for a neutron, and this neutron would hit that uranium atom. So here's our uranium, and a neutron would hit it, and it would then create iodine 131 and yttrium 104. So now it breaks apart into these two smaller atoms of iodine and yttrium, and three neutrons also break off. So then we have 1, 2, 3. So I want you to pause this video and try to fill in the missing blanks for these three reactions. Put the first two should go in your notebook, and the last one should go on the back of your Do Now. The answers to the first two are coming up in a moment, and the last. So hopefully you got this for the first two. Let's just recap how we get it. First off, the atomic number for palladium was missing. This number was gotten directly from the periodic table. I found Pa on the periodic table, and I saw it has an atomic number of 91. Protactium, I'm sorry. And this 87 came also directly from the periodic table. When I looked at francium, I found francium on the periodic table, and it has the atomic number of 87. So this was the most complicated part. First, what I did was I totaled my atomic number on the left side of my arrow. So 91 plus 3 times 0, because we have 3 neutrons, we have 3 neutrons, so 91 plus 3 times 0 equals 91. So I know my right side of the reaction also has to equal 91. So I have 87 plus blank plus 0. And so in that blank, I know it has to be 4, because 87 plus 4 equals 91. And then I looked at my masses. So I have 240 plus 3 times 1. So 240 plus 3 times 1 gives us 243. And then on the right side of my reaction, I have 230 plus something plus 1. So that's going to be 230 plus blank plus 1 has to equal 243. So I know that's 230 plus 1 is 231. So to get to 243, it needs to be 12, and that's where this 12 comes from. So for my second one, I did a very similar process, but this time I started more with the right side of my reaction. First, I found number 87 on the periodic table and discovered that it was radium, so I put my Ra there. And the next thing I did was I added up all of my atomic numbers on the right side of my equation. So that's 15 plus 88 plus 2 times 0. Again, we have 2 neutrons this time, and that's going to equal 103. Okay, then I also know that 0 plus something from this side has to equal 103, so that's why I put the 103 in the blank, because 103 plus 0 equals 103. Then I looked at my atomic mass, and I saw that I had 32 plus 227 plus 2 times 1. So 32 plus 227 plus 2 times 1, because I have 2 neutrons, and that gives us 261. And so I had 1 neutron on the left side of my equation, so I know that 1 plus blank has to equal 261. So 261 minus 1 is 260, so 260 plus 1 equals 261. So that's where the 260 came from. Now let's talk about fusion. Fusion means multiple atoms combined to form a larger atom. So I might start with 2 small atoms, and they end up combining. They come together to form 1 larger atom. And maybe a neutron will shoot off, or 2 neutrons will shoot off. But the key is 2 atoms are combining to form 1 larger atom. So for example, we have beryllium 10 and hydrogen 2, and they combine in a big reaction and form boron, a slightly larger atom, more massive atom, and 1 neutron shoots off. Okay, so again, do the first 2 problems in your notebook, and the last one, number 3, on the bottom of your Do Now, and on the next page, the first 2 are done for you, so pause the video and fill in all of these blanks. Hopefully this is what your blanks look like. Oops, I forgot to fill one in. Okay, so I found sodium by looking at the atomic number. The atomic number is number 11, so I looked at my periodic table and saw that that was sodium. Then I looked at my atomic numbers on the left side of my equation, and I know that 11 plus 2 equals 13, and something plus 0 had to equal 13, so blank plus 0 equals 13, so that blank has to be 13. Then I looked at my masses, and I realized that 20 plus 4 is equal to 24. Therefore, something plus 1 has to equal 24. So blank plus 1 equals 24, so I knew that that had to be 23. For number 2, I'm going to start by filling in that one that I skipped. So I find 22 on the periodic table, and that is titanium, so that's Ti. Now I'm going to start with the right side of my equation, and I'm going to start with the masses this time. So 46 plus 2 times 1, I have 2 neutrons, so that means the total mass is 2, equals 48. 41 plus blank equals 48. So 41 plus 7 equals 48, so that's what I put as my atomic mass for my unknown. And now I'm looking at my atomic number, so 19 plus blank. And on this side, I have 22 plus 2 times 0, which equals 22. So 19 plus something has to equal 22, so that something has to be 3.